Hare Krishna. Good morning. Good morning, Hare Krishna. Good morning and welcome to, for those of you who don't know, the beautiful temple of Karuna Bhavan, sitting high in the clouds above the pretty village of Lesmahego in Lanarkshire. Lanarkshire? Yeah. South Lanarkshire, Scotland. You're very welcome. This temple, like many other temples, is a wonderful place of opportunities for service, for serving people. During the COVID pandemic, during the lockdown, this temple provided hundreds and hundreds of plates of hot meals to the local residents, and life has gone on this way, serving other people for the past 35? Yeah, 35 years. It's a great testament to our stalwart devotees here, Prabhu Karuna, by whose grace we're all assembled here, Temple President, and his good wife Karuna, of chocolate fame, and Adhokshaja Krishna. Where is he here? He's just coming in. Thank you. Who kept us all dancing this morning. And Javat Basi and Brinda, who keep everything else going. Oh, Ramananda and Janava Priya, how could we forget that they... At the end of the temple here, you'll see beautiful two figures with their hands in the air. This is Chaitanya and Nityananda in the purple. Nityananda in blue, rather, Chaitanya in purple. And under their gaze, many festivals and ceremonies such as this have taken place. And the service opportunity is all about helping people forward in their spiritual life. So at the moment, what you will see, and if all of you who are sitting cross-legged on the floor, suitably young, hopefully, can see the elders here who are about to take initiation. And they've been waiting many years for this opportunity. But they do need some assistance. They'll need assistance because they're sitting in chairs. And Indian rituals generally consist of sitting cross-legged with an assembly of pots and pans in front of you. So if someone would, when I call for you, if you could take a cup and a spoon and offer it to them by putting a little spoonful of water in their right palm, and then all of you will sip that water from your right palm. This is called Achman. We'll say a mantra. And someone will help you with that. So there will be, those of you who are sitting here near Mukunda and Simona and Amelia, there will be people coming, so you know. Well, we'd like to welcome you from wherever you've come, and we'd like to welcome Colin, because Colin is here with his mum, Lorna, who I have a wonderful hat from you, Lorna. Thank you very much. I think the entire community has been wearing your hats at one time or another. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. And thank you for coming. Your function here, if you're not getting initiated, or incinerated as we sometimes call it, is to give your blessings. What is a blessing? It means you see that the person in front of you is about to take a next step in their spiritual life, and you feel it in your heart to give them an affectionate, warm send-off to close one chapter of life and begin another chapter of life. Do not worry. It does not mean abandon your career or your hobbies or your taste in food. It just means that within you there's a transformation beginning. So we have 10 devotees that you will see. 5 of them are making a commitment, which is called Upanishads, which is called the second initiation. They're the real heavyweights. And 5 of them are making the step known as the first initiation. They're the lightweights. The second initiates are the sort of, how can we say, the Tyson Fury of today's bout. And those who are first initiates, well, you're stepping up to the plate and entering the boxing ring. This is what it means, actually. It means to do battle. We are spiritual warriors. We are not believers that peace is the ultimate aim, but peace comes as a byproduct of an inner struggle. And it's an inner struggle. None of these people that you see sitting in chairs, especially not Mary, will be out on the streets, with fighting talk, although she may be. But they won't be talking about, controlling the world or spreading the gospel in an aggressive way. It's an internal struggle. So we have, for the initiates, we have one of these. And for those of you who are particularly interested, we have some copies. So maybe one could go to Lorna. She's got one. Colin has got one. And Mother Rasheshri should have one as well. Oh, you've got one. Okay, good. And we have so many wonderful Vaishnavas here today. And I'll be calling on some of you to speak and explain why these people sitting in chairs deserve to be sitting there and what they've done on their way forward. So if you look, we have, if you just give us a little wave when we mention your name so everybody knows who you are. My name is Kripamoya, I'm the priest for today. So we have Mary Smith. From the deep down south where the Sasanaks live, Stephen James. We have, sitting in the middle there, brightly coloured, Jeffrey Marshall. We have the homegrown tomato, John Elliott. There's a wonderful wave there, John. It's like you're going on a voyage. I saw someone do that at Southampton Harbour. They were going off on a cruise. We got news for you. And all the way from Switzerland, we have Nicole Seifert. For second initiation, the grand old master of the path of Bhakti, we have Shamlal Das. And sitting beside him is his ever-tolerant wife. God knows how she does it. Dana Kaylee Dasi. All the way up from Sheffield, we have Jai Krishna Das. And then we have Padmalochan Prabhu. And last but definitely not least, from Saltburn on the sea, very much on the sea, Anapayani David. So we're going to introduce you to each one so that you'll know why they're qualified, fully qualified to be sitting here. Qualification doesn't mean they're not nervous. Qualification doesn't mean that they think they're qualified. Each one of these candidates thinks that they're unqualified and they're nervous about taking the next step. And you should be nervous if you're still wearing your socks, because socks and these rituals do not make good fellows. So that's it. Please remove your socks. There's a lot to learn, boys and girls, isn't there? There's a lot to learn. Okay. So, seated beside me in what we call the chair of infinite tolerance, who has been stretched to breaking point 1,000 upon 1,000 times, is my lovely and good wife, Guru Chanapadma. Please believe me when I say, if it were not for her, I would definitely not be sitting here, because she wouldn't let me. But we thought we'd have this ceremony here because this is known as the place of infinite mercy, or Karuna Bhavan. So we all get a sort of special deal coming here. This is a special deal. And it's wonderful to see so many of you have come. Those of you who've come, we know that you've come with a good heart, because Sunday is a day when you could be doing many other things. You could have had a long lie-in, and there's probably something good on Netflix, but you're here to give your blessings. What is a blessing? It means that when you see these people in front of you, you want to send them off on their next chapter of life with a warm wish in your heart. So we look at them. If you could look at them now, feel that blessing in your heart and manifest it silently towards them. And we pray that God sits on their shoulders and sends them forward with a wonderful blessing from you all. Today is a good day, let me tell you, according to my astrological calculations. Today is a very good day because it is the month of Kartik. It is said that out of all months to become initiated, the month of Kartik is the best. And we have some asterisms or astrological combinations that were chosen basically 18 months ago, a long time. We've been waiting for this moment for quite some time. COVID had other plans, and we pushed it forward. So today is the first half of the month of Kartik. It's the fourth day of that fortnight, and we have the Krishna Paksha, which is the darkened fortnight of the moon. Chaturthi Titi, the fourth day. The star that is shining in the sky at this moment, although we cannot see it beyond the clouds, is known as Rohini. So Rohini Nakshatras in the sky. The combination of degrees of the star from the horizon is known as Varyan, and the Karana is known as Bhava. So there you go. That's your souvenir to take home and frame, and you know that you are here on this particular poem. So we have a song, and this song requests the blessings of Chaitanya and Nityananda, under whose patronage this event is taking place. No matter who we are, where we've come from, and where we're going, we need good friends, isn't it? This COVID period has tested us all, probably to breaking point. You knew who your friends were during the lockdown. Am I right? And some friends by now have been set aside and new friends have been taken up, because a friend in need is a friend indeed. And those on the path of spiritual life know that God is their best friend always. So that most magnanimous appearance of God in the world is God when he appears as a saint. Sometimes there are saints and sometimes there is God, and there's always a relationship between them. But when God himself comes as a saint to demonstrate love for God and show us how to conduct ourselves so that we achieve it in one lifetime, then that is a very special friend. So I would like one of the candidates, please, in a very loud voice, to read the English translation of the first verse, which is on page 3, so that when we sing the song, we will know what we're actually singing. And I'd like someone who happens to be a musician to perhaps look at the possibility of playing the harmonium for a song. The harmonium's gone walkabout. It's not far. Could the harmonium be persuaded to come back into the room? And could we call upon the ever-resilient Vrinda to accompany said harmonium? Radha could do it. He's a multitasker. You know this one? You play the drum, yes. So who of the candidates would like to read this one? Nice and loud. Padma? Okay, good.
In the land of Nadia, on the island of Kajuna, the magnanimous Lord Nityananda has opened up the marketplace of the holy name, meant for the deliverance of all fallen souls.
During the lockdown, all of us, all 10 of them, all of us, we have been communicating over online devices such as Zoom and WebEx and everything like this. So now this is the first time for many of us to see each other in the flesh, as it were. So we're a bit nervous, but we are used to reading things out because we've been doing it for the past couple of years, for what seems like a very long time. So number 2, please, which also happens to be the first part of the chorus. Number 2. Jeff.
O people of faith, by the order of Lord Garanga, O brothers, I beg with you 3 requests of you. Chant Krishna.
Krishna.
Worship Krishna.
Krishna.
And teach others about Krishna.
Krishna. And number 3.
Being careful to remain clear of offences, just take the holy name of Lord Krishna. Krishna is your mother, Krishna is your father, and Krishna is the treasure of your life.
Because your mother is here, Mary, and she gave you a wonderful voice. Why don't we have your voice for number 4?
Giving up all sinful activities, carry on your worldly duties only in relation to Lord Krishna. The showing of compassion to other souls by loudly chanting the holy name of Krishna is the essence of all forms of religion.
Thank you very much. Okay, so let's go slowly and see what we can do. Nadia Godrume Nitya. Sorry, it's a bit of a tongue twister. Let me go. It goes like this. Nadia Godrume Nityananda Mahajan Patiyache Namhata Jivera Karan. And then the chorus, which we sing after every verse, because that's what a chorus is. Shadavanjan He. Shadavanjan He. Next verse. Prabhu Ragyai Bhai Magi E Bhiksha. Bolo Krishna. Bhajo Krishna. Koro Krishna Shiksha. Shadavanjan He. Shadavanjan He. Aparadha Shunya Hoye Loho Krishna Nam Krishna Mata Krishna Pita Krishna Danapran Shadavanjan He Shadhavanjan He Krishna Era Samsara Koro Chadi Anachar Jivedoya Krishna Nam Sarva Dharma Sa. Yes, this is a song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and it's one of 8 songs that he wrote, which he wanted to be sung in public. And he said that if anybody sings this song in a village, such as Let's Mahego, where it's not been sung before, that he would personally make an appearance in the crowd. So watch out carefully. We are ready. Are you ready, Radha Govinda? Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan. Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan. Patiyache nam hatta jivera karan. Patiyache nam hatta jivera karan. Shadavan jane, everyone. Shadavan jane. Prabhu Ragyai Bai Magi E Bhiksha. Prabhu Ragyai Bai Magi E Bhiksha. Oh Bolo Krishna Bhajo Krishna Kuru Krishna Shiksha. Bolo Krishna Bhajo Krishna Kuru Krishna Shiksha. Shadavan jane, Shadavan jane. Shadavan jane, Shadavan jane. Aparada shunya hoy, Loho Krishna nam. Aparada shunya hoye, Loho Krishna nam. Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dana Pran. Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dana Pran. Ah, Shadavan jane, Shadavan jane. Shadavan jane, Shadavan jane. Krishna sansar koro, chari anachar. Krishna sansar koro, chari anachar. Ajive doya Krishna nam sarva dharma sar. Jive doya Krishna nam sarva dharma sar. Shadavan jane, Shadavan jane. Shadavan jane, Shadavan jane. Shadavangan He, Shadavangan He. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Shadavangan He, Shadavangan He. Shadavangan He, Shadavangan He. Bagpipes. Hare Krishna. Wonderful song. So let us begin. Let us begin the ceremony. First of all, can I ask my beloved disciple, His Grace, Radha Govinda, to put on his pavitram. You have it? No, don't put on mine. You put on yours. Hari Om. Good. And to do Shamal, if you can pass him a panchpatra there, cup and spoon. Meanwhile, we will be saying the prayers that were given to us by Srila Prabhupada. You do, Ajman. And these prayers dedicate our life to Prabhupada in the following way. Place our hands like this. We say, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya. I'll say a few prayers. These prayers come from the ancient Vedas known as the Upanishads. Om. You can ring the bell. Om Yang Brahma Varantavaro Varanti Slav Pare Pradhanam Purusham Tadanye Vishwadgiti Karanamishwaram Va Tasmai Namo Vigna Vinashaya Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashanti Surayo Diviva Chakshura Tatam Tad Viprasa Vipanyavo Chakravangsa Samindade Vishnuriyat Paramam Param Om Madhavo Madhavo Vachi Madhavo Madhavo Ridi Smaranti Sarvak Sarve Sarva Karyeshu Madhavam Om Krishna Vai Sachidanandagana Krishna Aripurusha Krishna Purushottama Krishna Utkarmani Mulam Krishna Saha Sarvaigaryaha Krishna Kasham Kritadisha Mukha Prabhu Pujaha Krishna Nadista Smelajandantar Vahye Yan Mangalam Dalabade Kriti. And all together we say the Maha Mantra, beginning with Om. Om. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. So if you would take your right hand, just the people who are sitting on the floor, well, everybody apart from the initiates, if you take your right hand and just look at those beautiful souls sitting opposite you. We're going to say a mantra that will give them courage, that will give them peace, and that will help them to make the journey better. We say Om, Mangalani, Bhavantu. Om, Mangalani
Mangalani
Bhavantu.
Bhavantu.
Om
Om
Mangalani
Mangalani
Bhavantu.
Bhavantu.
What does that feel like for you? Be on the receiving end. Good. Now we need some assistance. Whether you have sequins or not, we need you. So there's a tray of panchapatras with spoons. The idea with this, the big pot you can put down there. We don't need the big pot. That's it. Lovely. So, can I have some volunteers, please? And it would help if you are the volunteer that is also going to speak on behalf of a person. So maybe Mother Asheshri, could we have you? You just to give, and Adhokshaja, Ramananda. Lorna, would you like to do this for your daughter? Yeah. Do something to deserve it. Okay, good. Colin, do you want to come with Mum to help her, just in case she's, that's it. So lovely, Mum could come. And you take one of these pots. Oh, wonderful. So Lorna, you're with Mary, and then with Mihal, you can go. Let's have someone for Anapayani. That's it. And Ganga Devi, if you can, Anapayani. And we need Ramananda, you with Stephen. Adhokshaja, you with Jai Krishna. Mukunda, if you do Jeff. Okay, good. And Mother Guru, if you can do Nicole. Which column? Oh, yeah. Oh, Colin, yes, we'd like to see you. Yes, why not? Colin, you're a big lad. Would you like to serve our big lad on the end there? John, yeah. So, candidates, these lovely people are serving you. We need your right hand extended with the palm up and a spoonful of water. That's it, just wait, everybody, to get the place there. Javatavasi, that's a lovely shirt you've got there. So, you don't have a pot. There's always one troublemaker, isn't there? Okay, you ready? So right hand, palm up, flat, and if our servers could put a spoonful of water in the right palm, and if you could all look at that water and repeat after me, Om Keshavaya Namaha, and then drink the water from the bottom of your palm. And if your server could pour a drop of water and you wash, drop that on the floor and repeat the procedure another time. This is working very well. How nice is that, Mary? Mum is fully involved. Om Madhavaya. Excuse me. It's getting wrong. Om Narayanaya Namaha. And wash. And one more. Om Madhavaya Namaha. And wash the final time. Drop it on the floor. Thank you very much. If you have affection between yourself and the person in front of you, can you give them a little hug?
together and then
Beautiful. Thank you all so much. You're doing very well. Yes, you can hug anybody. That's they probably could do with a hug right now. Should we just have free hugs as part of the ceremony? I'm going to do a little Kumbha Puja over here. So whether you're hugging or whether you're chanting, you can chant Hare Krishna, and we'll do a little puja over here. I would like japa. I'd like people to listen to this. Okay, so some japa. Hare Krishna. Om Swastino Govinda, Swastino Chitananto, Swastino Vasudevo, Vishnu Dadatu, Swastino Narayano Naravai, Swastina Padmanabha Purushottamo Dadatu, Swastino Vishvakshena Vishveshvara, Swastino Rishikesha Hari Dadatu, Swastino Vainateyo Hari, Swastino Anjana Suto Nor Bhagavato Dadatu, Swasti Swasti Samandalai, Keshaman Shri Krishna Sachidananda Gina Sarveshwareshwara Dadatu, Karotu Swastime Krishna Sarvalokeshwareshwara, Karishnadayashta Kurvantu Swastime Lokapavana, Krishna Mamaiva Sarvatra Swasti Kuryakshyasvam, Tattaiva Chasada, Karshni Sarva Vigna Vanashana. Om Govinda Govinda Govinda. Adya Sri Kartik Masa, Shri Krishna Paksha, Chaturthi Titi, Rohini Nakshatra, Varyan Yoga, Prabhu Karuna, Aham Kripamoya Dasa, Nama Karanam, Sri Upanayanam, Karishye, Harinam Grahanam. Om Shuklam Bharadhanam Vishnam Shashivaranam Chaturbhujam Prasanavaranam Jayam Sarvabhagno Prashantaye.
Don't call me old.
Baby? Om Yasyadvirata Vakradi Prishati Parashadam Vignam Vignam Sadam Krishna Shenam Samashe Om Yasyadvirata Vakradi Prishati Parashadam Vignam Vignam Sadam Krishna Shenam Samashe Om Yasyadvirata Vakradi Prishati Parashadam Vignam Krishna Shenam Samashe. So, thank you very much. Can we join together in reciting these 24 names on page 5? We'll do that now. Page 5. Keshava. We'll go down one column and down another column. Narayana. Madhava. Govinda. Vishnu. Madhusudana. Trivikrama. Vamana. Shridhara. Rishikesha. Padmanabha. Damodar Sankarshana Vasudeva Pradyumna Aniruddha Purushottama Adhokshaja Narasingha Achyuta Janardana Upendra Hari Krishna Krishna Krishna. There's a beautiful verse amongst many verses. This is from the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam at the bottom of the page. We're going to discuss this, but before we do that, we're going to have a reading from the Upanishads. This is called the Man from Kandahar.
The man from Kandahar. There was a man from Kandahar who was captured by robbers and taken to a remote place in the desert. He awoke to find himself blindfolded with his hands tightly bound. Where am I? He thought to himself, and how shall I now find my way home? To the south or the north of me there might be wild animals, and I may be set upon and killed. To the east and west of me there may be more desert or deep canyons in which I may fall. How shall I find my way back home? Thinking in this way, he despaired and wept. Then came a traveler who, filled with compassion at the poor man's plight, and being equipped with a sharp knife, cut the blindfold and freed the man's hands. The traveler then gave him directions, and the man rejoiced and made his way back home to the beautiful city of Kandahar. In this story, the blindfolded and bound man is the spirit, temporarily housed in the body. The compassionate traveler is the guru who sets him free, and returning home to Kandahar is the soul finding its way home to the final destination. That's from the Chandogya Upanishad.
Thank you very much. Chandogya Upanishad describes the turning point in life. There are many such turning points. The turning point when we say, look within and see that we wish to pursue a new path in life. Of course, this particular traveler, he didn't have the luxury of thinking, considering his hands were bound, his legs were bound, he was blindfolded, he'd been attacked and robbed, he was living in the desert. What was he going to do? But then a kind traveler came and freed him with a knife. So the knife is the words of the sadhu. The sadhu means a good person who can not cut us with a literal knife, but cut our attachments to the world of make-believe, the world of illusion, with sharp words of the Upanishads. So the Upanishads are given to us at the end of the Vedas, because most of the Vedas are concerned with how to have a happy, peaceful, prosperous, well-organized life, and to take birth again in an auspicious place. The Upanishads say, enough of this, you've done this enough times now. But you won't be able to read an Upanishad until it's the right time for you to do so. It's impossible. Even if you come across it in a library, you won't understand it unless it's the right time in your life. So what is the right time in your life? The right time in your life is when you consider, my hands are tied, my feet are tied, I'm blindfolded. If I go this way, there are poisonous, sharp cactuses. This way, there's a canyon into which I may fall. The other way, there may be wild animals. Or again, I may meet the bandits. I have nowhere to go, nothing to take shelter of. And in that position, then God sends the traveler. Now, in our Krishna consciousness movement, the person who comes and cut the ropes that bind us, for all of us, is His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Because of his words that we all simply repeat. We repeat them as messengers. That's all we do. Any spiritual teacher that we have is repeating that message. But his words, practically speaking, changed the world. One elderly man with no government support, no institutional support, no funding, no colleagues, no followers, chose to come to a remote land where he'd never been and sat under a tree and sang the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. It was a preposterous idea to even think that he would be successful. How can you imagine that a person would be successful? Here we all are. We are his children. We're following his words and following his instructions. Our life is improved. As I was saying this morning, if nothing else happens in your life, at least your life has improved and you won't be sick, you'll be healthy, you'll be peaceful, and you'll be happy. But if more than that happens, you'll attain love of God, which is the best of all futures for the soul, because that is the beautiful city that we want to return to. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said here, Krishna says, 11th canto, 29th chapter, 34th verse, when a mortal being completely surrenders unto me, giving up all kinds of karma, with a desire to attain my special favor, he attains immortality and becomes very dear to me. And Krishna describes that this principle of surrender is called Sharanagati, and it has a beginning, and there are so many stages, but basically it means to turn the heart around 180 degrees, away from a me-centered universe to a God-centered universe. It used to be like that, not so long ago. We had Sunday trading laws in Scotland. The shops would be shut. People believed in God and they went to church. That's all changed now. And into the vacuum comes a lot of different ideas. So in our life, we've decided to do something radical. To enter into a relationship with God such that every day we turn to Him and we ask Him to guide us and help us. I'd now like to take the opportunity to ask, let's see, we can do that in a little. Let's just do this first. On page 6, you'll find the 4 pillars of spiritual life, which we talk about at every initiation ceremony. These are pillars, principles that we follow to give us a firm grounding, firm moral compass, and to make the mind peaceful, free it from, it said, the six bandits. There are 6 bandits on the road of your life, and these 6 bandits can hop out from behind a tree or a rock and your life force they will strangle in some way. These are known as lust, greed, anger, madness, illusion, and envy. Symbolically, they're all different bandits that threaten us at different points. So these are the protections we have: cleanliness, mercy, austerity, and truth. These are the principles. And springing from those, we promise to avoid intoxication, illicit sex, gambling. What's the other one? Oh yes, eating of meat, fish, and eggs. Many years ago, this was quite a revolutionary thing to say, that you're going to be vegetarian for life. Back in 1974, this was enough to make my mother go, no, don't do it. Don't do it. This is terrible. Of course now, what's the problem? If someone says, I'm going to give up smoking for life, no big deal. The whole world has changed. So the world has changed and it's changing. And we hope to see that these foundational principles of Dharma are introduced at least in an individual way, and hopefully in a collective way at some point. So next underneath this we have the 5 most powerful practices. These are the elements of spiritual life that are given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Firstly, to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Okay? You got that. First and foremost, number 1, top of the list, Kirtanam. To hear and discuss the Srimad Bhagavatam. So all of our candidates here today, they're saying yes to chanting and yes to hearing and discussing the Bhagavatam. And don't forget, it's not only reading, but it's discussing. Because by discussing with others, you get to hear things that your own mind would not tell you upon reading. And you go back to the book and you find it's a different book because of something someone shared with you. Next, to offer services to the deity at home or in the temple. We have a beautiful temple, and by these ceremonial and ritual actions of deity worship, we can consecrate our life. Number 4, to associate with the Lord's devotees. It's certainly a very powerful thing to be with other people who are on the same path, certainly on the spiritual path, that will provide you with many helpers, many supporters, many good friends. And number 5, to live in a holy place connected to Krishna. What does that mean? Sometimes we think it means to go and live in India. But Srila Rupa Goswami, the most confidential associate of Lord Chaitanya, said, no, it doesn't mean that. It means to live in a place where those other 4 things are going on. So we don't have to leave Zurich and go to India, or leave London and come to Lesmahago. Although, it's not a bad idea, I think. If a few people, you don't mind if they come, okay. You got accommodation for them? Yeah. The point is to live in a place where people are doing the 4 elements. Of course, it's good if we live in Vrindavan for 3 days, Prabhupada said. You go to Vrindavan and live there for 3 days. He said, any more, you'll get up to mischief. Live there for 3 days. 3 days, 3 nights. Go to Mayapur first, then go to Vrindavan, and you'll have a wonderful time. But otherwise, we have to consider, where is Vrindavan being recreated? It's where Krishna is being worshipped and his holy name is being spoken and sung. So this place, Karuna Bhavan, this wonderful temple, has stood the test of time. 35 years on the top of this hill, they've been chanting the holy name of Krishna, hearing and discussing the Srimad Bhagavatam, taking the Lord's remnants, food, and they've been following these beautiful regulated principles here. And in this way it stood strong and stood the test of time. I think a round of applause is There's a lot of vitality in this temple. Padmalochan, you know that. It's a gleaming beacon of light in Scotland. Of course, we wish it wasn't so far north. Have you ever considered moving this temple a little, maybe out of Scotland, maybe, down towards the sort of Sheffield, Leeds area? I'd hope you do. Was thinking Hawaii. It is where it is because the devotion is where it is. And people are going to take advantage of this place in many different ways. So we now reflect on the 10 offenses to the holy name of Krishna. This is the bit where we get worried. Will I be able to follow these? 10 offenses means 10 things that those who are the ones who are vowing to chant rounds every day? Well, you all are. But who's the 5 first initiates? There you are, 5 first initiates. Okay. So these are the things that you are particularly promising to do. To avoid. Let's have all of you read one of them each, beginning with Anapayani.
Number 1, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Yes. It means don't allow lust, greed, anger, envy to cloud your relationships with other devotees. This is the idea. What is an offense to a devotee? It means when you are physically injurious, mentally injurious, you think unhelpful thoughts, or you're violent in your speech, or your envy causes them to break the friendship, or you're not happy when you see them. All of these things are in the area of number 1. Number 2, Stephen?
To consider the name of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Rama to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu.
Yes. Usually in Scotland we don't have too much concern for demigods. But the idea is that there are many things that you can worship in life. Or maybe what they do. Oh, okay. For your family. Your family. Yeah. Indian families usually worship the devatas like Lord Shiva. We are friendly to all, by the way. We do not disrespect any of the devatas. That's a cardinal point here. We worship everyone. We honor and respect everyone. But in the order of priority, Krishna is always placed first. And the demigods always know the relevant position, or we should know the position. And I'm so glad, Balashwari, you've come to that position. Very good. Number 3?
To disobey the orders of the spiritual master.
Yes, the orders of the spiritual master. What does that mean? It means to deliberately contrive to disobey the orders of the Guru. We live in a sort of enlightened age, don't we? We have, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness has a long history now, half a century. And it's half a century, isn't it, Rasheshri, where we have seen the orders of the spiritual master were sometimes invalid when they departed from Srila Prabhupada's instructions. So I think we understand that in context. Just like yesterday I was saying that the principle that concerns all of us as followers of Srila Prabhupada is to pass on the baton to the next generation. That's what concerns us, concerns everybody. Just this morning I was listening to that beautiful piece of music called the Govindam Prayers. Just a couple of weeks ago, the lady who plays the harp in the Govindam Prayers, she passed away. She was 92. She lives in Aylesbury, old harpist. She was much younger when she played. What was his name? The fifth member of the Beatles. George Martin, that's right. He commissioned her. He said, play the harp on this. She played the harp. Now her contribution is very small. Her name was Barbara. But it has lasted And in every one of Srila Prabhupada's temples all over the world, devotees hear that song every day with that piece of music. I would like to think she got some spiritual credit for that. But you know, she's passed away, we will pass away, everybody in this room will pass away. But the teachings of Srila Prabhupada will be passed on. Now at the moment, I'm looking at all of you candidates, and I'm hoping that you will pass on the teachings of Srila Prabhupada when I'm long gone, because that time is fast approaching. So we are in a race against time in some way. We are passing on to you what we received from Prabhupada. And if I have any qualifications in life, it's because I chose to listen to him when I was young and to try my best to make that struggle in life. Spiritual life is never peaceful. There will always be a struggle. But it's a glorious struggle, and it's worth it. Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada has given us all wonderful books and wonderful messages and wonderful practices, and we just have to do those. And if I can help any of you by serving you along the way, then I will be doing my service to Srila Prabhupada. This is all about service. All of what we're doing here today is not about me, but it's about him. It's about what he has given to you, and me simply being the messenger boy, really, just the messenger boy, the in-between. One time in 1976, Prabhupada came to Bhaktivedanta Manor, Sheshwari was there. He came to Bhaktivedanta Manor, and I was feeling a little bit upset because I never got to go on a morning walk with Srila Prabhupada. I was never considered important enough. I was low down the ranks. I was a boy who would sell books. And although they used to give us the Mahaprashadam, we were still too young. You're too young to go with Prabhupada. Don't ask him any questions. Don't ask him any questions at the end of class, I was told. Don't ask any questions. Yes, Prabhupada came. I was sitting right in front of Prabhupada, closer than this. And they said, shh, don't ask any questions. What was the idea? Your questions are not important enough. If you've got a question for him, we will answer it for you. Don't write letters. No, don't write a letter to him. You can't write a letter. Anything that you need to know from Prabhupada, we can tell you. That's how I was trained. Anyway, I was feeling a little bit pinched by that. So Prabhupada came in 1976, and he invited us to a Sankirtan class. There was a book. The book distributors were invited, and we sat in front of him. And Prabhupada, there was only 15 of us, so I was very happy to be one of only 15. And he looked at everybody in the face. And he was nodding. He was nodding to everybody, just acknowledging everybody. And he looked at, and he said, "Thank you all for helping me spread this movement." I'm helping him spread this movement. So that meant a lot to a 22-year-old boy. But really, the conclusion I came to is that Prabhupada can't be everywhere every day. So he had engaged us with our youthful energy in serving him by going out every day and presenting the Srimad Bhagavatam to people. So similarly, Prabhupada passed away in 1977. He cannot be everywhere in the world today in the same way, but he still has these young at heart servants who are helping him as his fingers and his tongue and his legs to go to different places and to pass on that message in a very real way. That was what he wanted, and we do it. And it's about passing on what he wanted, not what I wanted, because it's his movement. No, nothing I've created. We just the messengers. So I hope you understand everything in that way. So whatever I give you today, I'm just passing it on. Whatever instructions I will ever give you in the future, I'm just passing it on. My job is to make sure that I never forget that I'm disciple, whatever you think of me. You may see me in various ways, but my job is to not believe a word that you say. So we had a wonderful festival yesterday, festival of tears and flowers and foot washing and poetry. And I got to tell you, I'll reveal my mind to you. I didn't believe a word. Because all of that is really meant for him, because everything that I am and anything that I can give you is come from him. It's all borrowed. And one day I will be asked to give an account. What did you do? What did you do? Who did you bring? Did we finish? We got, how far did we get? Okay, we're on number 4 now. Stop me talking next
To
time.
blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or the scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version.
Yes. Number 5.
To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination.
Yes. Number 6.
To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord.
Yes. Number 7.
To commit sinful activities on the holy name.
Yes. Number 8.
To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda.
There are many, since the 1960s, there are many different processes that have been broadcast in the world, apparently from India. Different mantras are sort of available on the internet, aren't they? And when we go to places like Glastonbury, we'll find dream catchers and crystals and tapes of whale song and all kinds of things. So, and it's all wonderful, it's all nice, it's all sattvic, of course. But to collect that and say, well, chanting Hare Krishna is in the same, no, it's not. It's not. It has nothing to do with it. Number 9.
To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
Yes, Prabhupada was in Bhaktivedanta Manor, and Shamsundar Das was sitting at his feet, and Shamsundar Das occasionally would, if Prabhupada was tired, he would take over and explain something to a guest, because Shamsundar was very busy at getting guests to come. And so this particular guest was a folk singer that none of you have heard of except a few people with grey hair. His name was Donovan. And he was with the Beatles in Rishikesh. They were studying under the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi up until the time they all got disillusioned and wrote songs about him, poking fun at him. But Donovan came to see Prabhupada because the Beatles had said that Prabhupada was the real deal. So Donovan came with his girlfriend, and Shamsundar was explaining very detailed philosophy to him and his girlfriend. And so they took some prasadam and they left the room, and Prabhupada turned to Shamsundar and he said, "You have committed the 9th offense against the holy name of Krishna." He said, "What?" He said, "You have told them too much. You've told them too much. To tell too much is worse than telling too little." Number 10.
To not have the complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema.
Krishna Prema, thank you much. Haribol. Yeah. So the name of Krishna is Krishna, and although we have the name of Krishna, Krishna likes it when you accept his name in this particular format, because that means that the name of Krishna is being adopted at the same time as Sharanagati. Now I wonder if those of you who have who are going to be taking first initiation, did you bring a prayer with you? You did, you brought your prayer. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to come and with heartfelt obeisances, not now, but you're going to pray your obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, and then you're going to come, and without, please, turning your feet towards Prabhupada, you pay obeisances again slightly diagonally to the lordships, and you're going to offer a flower. You can take a flower from the dish on the corner of Prabhupada's asana and place it at his feet, if you would. Then offer your obeisances and look up and pay obeisances to Shishi Korunatai, Koda Nitai Maya Prashashi. But first of all, we're going to have our second initiates. And the meaning of second initiation is something slightly different. But I want to depart from my explanations to ask our guests to kindly share some information on the candidates themselves. See who we've got. We have mothers. We have Ganga Devi, the fast-flowing river from the Himalayas, who seems to know everybody on the chairs. We have the mother of at least, if not half of them, then more than half, Rasheshri. And Rasheshri is really what you've done, Rasheshri, is you've brought how many people to Krishna consciousness, these people that are sitting here. Rasheshri is down 3 hours away, but she's come here today, and it's only fair that, not fair, but it's only appropriate that we request her to say something, because really the job that she's done in giving Krishna consciousness and guiding these different devotees over the phone, sometimes when they needed it most, sometimes when they didn't need it, or they didn't think they needed it, but brought them up from a baby to the full-fledged adults that you are today. So, Rajeshri, would you like to? Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Mainly I'd like to speak about Padmalochan Prabhu and Jai Krishna Prabhu. And many years ago I used to be a Gurukul teacher, and every year I get a new class of students, and some would be very, very enthusiastic, and others would be not really wanting to be there, wanted to be at home with mama. And every year I'd watch those children develop and then pass them on to another teacher in another class for them to develop even more. And I feel like that about these young men. When I first met Padmalochan, he was stood in the doorway of a group meeting that we had, looking very hesitant and saying, is it all right if I come in? And we brought him in, and the rest is history. I think when you're dealing with new people coming into the movement, you have to be very, very careful and nourish them and protect them a little bit. Sometimes protect them from themselves. Jai Krishna Prabhu I met much later, and Jai Krishna's the naughty boy in my class. He's changed so much. He's blossomed. He's become a very, very sincere devotee. And again, to watch this happening with people that you had no contact with previously is such an honor. And that's how I feel today, seeing both of them, seeing Anupayani, seeing Mary, people that I've been privileged to have this connection with, taking this next step on the spiritual life and I'm also a bit of a gardener. And sometimes you have a flower or a plant that doesn't seem to be doing very well. And then one day you walk into the garden and it's blossomed. And I'm seeing them blossom today. Hare Krishna.
Perhaps you could ask Gangadev too.
Hare Krishna. I'd first like to give some words of appreciation for Danagili Devi Dasi on her second initiation. Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada once said that a woman is like a boat that her husband is sailing in, and that's what Danakali is. You don't see much of her, you don't hear much of her, but she's there in the background, steering her family along. She's a stalwart. She's friendly, gentle, kind, caring, and dedicated. She helps propagate Lord Chaitanya's mission by distributing books and having a book table in various places. She supports her husband, or rather, they support each other. And then Anapaini. What is Anapaini? She's full of enthusiasm. She's eager to please. She wants to be herself. She's a glass half full rather than a glass half empty. She's a good northern woman, and you get what you see. She's friendly to others. People are attracted to her by her jolly outward appearance, and that helps getting her into conversation with people, especially in her shop, so she can get people interested in the Indian artifacts, and then somehow it gets around to talking about Krishna. She's exuberant. She's a good dancer, as you all saw last night, and she's very keen. That's all I have to say.
Well, now, would you care to speak about your beautiful daughter, Mary? What sort of wee lassie was she?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I should be saying anything about it. Here's what you got. Very good daughter. A lovely girl from school. She stuck in at school. She helped her brothers and sister. And then this one came along 10 years later, and I thought it was hers. She would never let him sleep. And then she grew up and she went her own way, did all the different things, and she's back with me.
Colin. The brother's opinion.
Well, I don't need a mic, it's all right. Yeah, most of the guys my ego will be able to hear me. Oh, recorded. Ah, I see. Yeah, so obviously I'm the baby of the family. My big sister over there. Where do I start? You know, way back, you know, in London, probably. I don't remember too much about that day, right enough. But yeah, just seeing Mary grow over the years. Yeah, it just sort of brings a calmness to the family. And yeah, it's just really nice and meeting all you lovely people today. And yeah, it's just a really nice atmosphere, really nice vibe, and you know, I'm really proud of it.
Yeah. I would like to hear something about Jeff from Nick. What can we say about Jeff, Nick?
Have you got a few hours?
Well, tell us a little bit about his background.
Well, we've been on a wonderful journey together, me and Jeff, actually. A couple of Indian tours. And it's I'm really, really pleased for Jeff to see him actually get to today and take initiation. He's done very well. So it's really, really proud of him. Well done, Jeff.
We'll hear a little bit about it. Yes.
Hare Krishna. So Nicole, I first met Nicole when she came to Bhaktivedanta Manor just a little over 2 years ago to attend the 3-month residential course known as the Bhakti course. So I'm very privileged I get a chance to meet these new students to Bhaktivedanta Manor, and it's really an honor. I always ask them what their journey has been because, you know, Krishna works in such magical ways, you know, to attract the souls and bring them closer, you know, open up their hearts and begin the growth of their bhakti lata beach and their spiritual creeper. So Nicole is a yoga teacher, and she was attracted to Krishna through music, but mostly she heard a little bit of kirtan. But then one of her friends told her that there was a big yoga conference, I believe in Switzerland, that there would be a devotee there doing some kirtan and talking about bhakti yoga. So she went along, and of course that devotee has become one of the main mentors in her life. Shiksha Guru, I would say. That's Raghunath Prabhu, who's a very dynamic preacher. I'll put in a plug here for Wisdom of the Sages. Yeah, he's a very dynamic preacher. But yeah, Nicole, I would say she's not only a spiritual seeker, but she's a spiritual traveler, as we heard the story of the man from Kandahar. Not only spiritually, but physically. She's also a treasure seeker, so she's traveled to wherever the nectar is. So not only did she come to Bhaktivedanta Manor to study and learn, but, you know, after she finished the 3-month course, and that also, I think, brought her up here to Karuna Bhavan for 1 week for a retreat. But she also traveled on a retreat to the Govardhan Eco Village. She's been to Villa Vrindavan, and not only that, she returned to Bhaktivedanta Manor to take on the Bhakti Shastri course. So she's also very philosophically minded, and although the pandemic hit, she carried on and continued that course back home. So she used to be a hardcore girl. You can see from her tattoos. And she actually had heard of Raghunath because he was hardcore with Shelter. But she's become very, very soft core now, I would say. And just such an enthusiastic and lovely devotee. I feel so privileged to have known her a little bit and feel really honored that she's joining this family of ours. I was so excited to hear. And she is loves association. She's very friendly and seeks out, association of kind-hearted and inspirational devotees. So really pleased for you today, Nicole. I'm wishing you well in taking this first step, in your official first step. You've taken lots of baby steps up to this point. There's a big step in your spiritual life. Hare Krishna.
Hare. I could speak about all of them. But let me say something about Stephen. Give us a wave, Stephen. Off on a cruise. Wave. Stephen is married to Amalia, who's down here with Mahashringa. Amalia is from Greece, where she met Stephen some time ago. And Stephen is a very peaceful man. He has a very deep insight into Krishna consciousness. He loves nature, he loves gardening, he loves agriculture, and he's looking towards starting a spiritual community in the countryside. So if that's your flavor, you can talk to him. He's also a yoga teacher, and he's also a qualified optician. Now, when Prabhupada was once asked, what is a guru? Prabhupada just reached. He picked up his glasses and he said, this is a guru. He said, I see you. I can see you. Now I can see you better. He said, guru is transparent via media. So it's a wonderful thing to see Stephen join our family of devotees. It's been quite some time coming, isn't it, Stephen? We put it off and we put it off. COVID and pandemic and lockdown and all these things. But in a very quiet way, in a very determined way, in a very persistent way, he's behaved at every step of the way as a true Brahmin. He's a true Brahmin. Not that he's going to become a Brahmin today, but he's taking this step. And I know that with the support of his good wife, then he will. I just remember, Stephen, spiritual life is flexible for those of us who walk the path with you. Okay. So we want rigidity, but flexibility in our approach with others. I just want to say something about the big man on the end here. Big man on the end, Dana Kalia's long-suffering wife. She became a devotee many, 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 many years ago when she was young. She was even working at Bhaktivedanta Manor as a nursery nurse. Meanwhile, she was married to someone, and still is, him, who said, Hare Krishna, you never get me jumping up and down with those people. What they're singing, you never get me singing that. Well, Dana Kali, with quiet faith and persuasion and a lot of cooking and secretly offering the food to Krishna, managed to convince this big man over here that he wasn't going to be a big man until he turned himself towards Krishna. And he did it. So there's always hope. There's always hope. Anyway, I'm impressed with all of you. I'm impressed with how far you've come. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. My long-suffering wife has told me that. We're going to hear about John. Johnny's a local boy. But do we have that mobile one? Because I'll need this in a minute. That's it. Pass that one forward. Thanks, Brenda. Thank you, Brenda. Unless you want to say something.
So John is a man of few words, and actions speak louder than words, as we know. So John is the backbone of the morning program here at Karuna Bhavan. Steady every single day in life. He's up at 3:30, chanting even before the Mangalarti comes. He loves to read Srila Prabhupada's books. If you give him any spare time, he doesn't go and gossip. He'll find Prabhupada's books, and you'll get Prabhupada's association there. And like all of us, sometimes we, even in devotional service, we get attached to doing a particular thing. If we've been given an instruction to do something, and then you set yourself up to do that, and then someone says, sorry, we're going to change your direction, you're doing something else today. And so that sometimes happens because he has to tolerate my poor management. But I remember one time he was fixed for doing some gardening, and a devotee needed to go on Sankirtan. He needed some company. I says, John, can you go on Sankirtan? And the devotee said, oh, you won't be very happy to hear that. But you couldn't see. I says, you okay with that? He said, an order's an order, isn't it? So that's what you call selfless service. It doesn't matter what I want to do. You know, if I've been asked to do something, I do that. And then if I've been asked to do something else, I change and do that. So we could do with a lot more Johns in Karuna Bhavan.
Is it a rule that they all have to be called John? Do you have to be Scottish to live here?
Apparently Prabhupada was Scottish. Asian.
International Society. Very good. Thank you. I wonder if I could now ask for the flower garlands. Oh, excuse me, no, we're going to distribute the neck beads. The Tulsi neck beads have been offered to the deities. And now I'd like you to go down the line and see who these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 belong to. So these will be the first initiates. And you take the neck beads and hold them in your hand, and your assistant will then come and tie them on for you. So that will be Nicole, Mary. Whoever wants to tie on Mary's neck beads will come forward. Janapriya. That will be John. Maybe Jabat will tie John's. And Mukunda, if you could tie on Stephen's, please. And if there's a little bit of room that all of you sitting at the front here can give us, Amalia maybe, and girls, if you want to move a little bit this way, just a few inches. You can move. That didn't quite work, did it? No. We're going to do garlands now. Okay. And do please stay there because we have beautiful flower garlands coming. We say together, yeah, please. Yes. Vrindaya Tulasi Devyaya Priyaya Kashivasya Cha Vishnu Bhakti Pradidevi Satyavata Namo Namaha. Sorry, who's put Jeff's on? You're putting Jeff's on. Yes. Okay. Very nice. Comfortable, Jeff? Jockey beads, aren't they? Strong beads. So everybody gets a flower garland in our religion. This is the blessing coming from the Lord. We have ordered 10 garlands. Make sure the first initiates get them. Okay. We're very happy today to also be performing the fire sacrifice for His Grace Balashwara Prabhu, who's sitting in the front here. Give him a round of applause. He got initiated when? 2 years back. Okay. Takes time for fire yogis to come to Scotland, I think. Yeah. Okay. Please garland everybody now, yeah. But not me. These are beautiful flowers. Who's brought the flowers? Can we see where Marianne is sitting, please? This is Marianne. Give a round of applause for Marianne. Beautiful flowers and flower garlands. Yes. Beautiful. You made it, Jeff. John, you've almost made it. Well, you won't get those. It should be enough, actually. Chris, could you, if you come here, then you can get a shot of everybody then. Very good. Wonderful. So, can I ask all of you to please? Did you get? You given them all out? Give it to her. Give one to Prabhupada. I don't like them doing a yogi. Baleshwar. Okay. Yeah, give to Baleshwar. And another one to Madhuguru. That's it. Okay. One to Baleshwar. I don't like them. I don't. May I please ask you to receive the applause of everyone by all standing up at the same time. And this is for the photo album. Don't anybody else stand up, please. That's it. That's it. Oh my God, look at them. They look like angels. In 50 years' time, this is the photo that we'll look back on. One more. Oh, fantastic. Hallelujah, we did it. Please be seated, yes. Gosh, how many conversations does it take to bring someone forward in Krishna consciousness? It takes a lot, doesn't it? A lot of hours. How many hours, Rasheshwari? How many hours do you think? Just on Padmalochan, how many hours do you think? And it's ongoing. Beautiful. I would just like to say thank you for making this choice. You have many, many choices in life. Thank you for making this one. And to those of you who are going to receive your mantras, thank you very, very much. To those who receive the holy name, your name. So now we will change this. Did we do everything that we wanted to do? Yes. So just so you understand, the Hare Krishna mantra is a mantra that's given to everyone. Devotees go regularly into Glasgow to sing a sacred mantra to everyone. But there are other mantras that we don't share with everyone. These are the mantras that are given to our Brahmins today. Brahmin means many things, but it means that one is extra dedicated to a life of spirituality. it means also that 3 times a day you stop. You just stop. Whatever you're doing, stop it. It's probably not good for you. You do your Hare Krishna mantra before breakfast, but during the day, 3 times a day you stop and you consider. Naham vipro na cha narapatira na pivaisho na shudro. Naham varani na chagriya patira no vanasto yatirva. Kintu prodyan nikila paramananda purnamritabder. Gopi bharatu parakamayor. Dasa, dasa, anudasa. I am the servant of the servant of the servant. I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, I'm not this ego, I'm not this pride, I'm not this lust, anger, envy, and greed, madness, illusion. And what's the other one? Envy. They are robbers that have invaded me. I am free from all these things. I'm above all these things. I am the conscious spirit, passing through life, human life, with a precious opportunity to make my relationship with God good. 3 times a day you stop when you think of these things. Okay, good. So now we're going to change the state and we're going to ask for different candidates to come forward to receive their mantras. The rest of you, I would like to ask you to chant Hare Krishna or to kirtan or to move this table back. We're going to erect a screen. I know it looks like a tartan kilt. We're going to raise it. This is I need Ramananda and Janava Priya to help me with that. And if you could prepare yourself, because the first will be Shamlal and Dhanakeli.
Turn the flash off, I think we better.
What a really good idea.
I get myself into trouble.
I get myself into trouble all the time too.
When you say even you get
Yes, you have to.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhattamrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhattamrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for Kirtan. Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna. Now I would like to call upon the first initiates to come forward. So let us consider first initiation as a wonderful step forward. There are 5 elements, one of which includes adjusting our name to a name which will permanently remind us and others of our position as a servant of Krishna. In the material world, no one wants to be a servant. Everybody wants to be a master. But in the spiritual kingdom, everybody is a servant of someone else. We're all servants of God. So the idea is that we have a name of God who has many features and many phases and many aspects. And this name is affixed with the word das for male and dasi for female. Simply means the servant. So first I'd like to call upon Mary. You can applaud. Oh, you're over there. Come closer. Can you manage? Let's see. So Mary, I'm obliged to ask you. I know that you know, and you know that I know that you know, but I'm asking anyway. Mary, what are the 4 regulated principles?
No meat, no fish, no eggs, no intoxication, no gambling, and no illicit sex.
And how many rounds will you chant every day?
A minimum of 16 rounds.
And how much reading every day?
As much as I can squeeze in.
And it's not part of the official vows, but I would say always try to be engaged in service of some kind. You have a wonderful community here, and I know you're an essential part of that community, so please continue to expand on that. We have many masters when we become a dasi. The ultimate is Krishna, but in between us and Krishna there are many, many masters and mistresses to help us along the way by providing opportunities for service. So, your home is Scotland, this temple is your home, and please continue serving in a wonderful way. We talk about the plane of service. The plane of service is aspected by relationship. To offer service to someone means that you love them, and in loving Krishna, Krishna can only love someone that he's attracted to. So that attraction is the most powerful connector between us and Krishna. And so that bhakti even overpowers Krishna because it is such an attractive force. So I thought of a name, and I hope you like that name. It means one who is most attractive by the power of her attraction to Krishna. So let me read my little speech and get ready to applaud. Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Panchatattva's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy and the kindness of the Vaishnavas, I'm very pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore the disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you unlimitedly with their grace. I'm very happy to award you the name Mohini Devi Dasi.
Thank you.
Must be Nicole. In England, when the candidate is coming up for initiation, devotees try to make them very afraid by going Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. But we don't. This is Scotland. We won't do that. Hare Krishna. That's many different. Krishna. One aspect which I particularly like is the fact that Krishna is the shelter of everyone, that every jiva can find shelter at the feet of Krishna. But alongside Krishna is his Shakti, who's never ever separate from Krishna. And just as we meditate on the permanence of Krishna, we also meditate on the permanence of the feminine aspect of Krishna, who is serving Krishna. There's more I could say. But what are the four regulated principles? Did I say feminine aspect? So what are the four regulated principles?
No eating of meat, fish, and eggs. No gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex.
Okay. And rounds?
16.
And I know you're a great reader. So how much reading do you normally do a day?
As Mohini Devidasi said, as much as possible.
As much as possible, okay.
Daily.
And please try to be engaged in service, because this practical service focuses mind, body, and soul on the service attitude. It's very difficult to be a devotee without focusing that service attitude. So practical service focuses that. So, I'm very pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore the disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, shower you unlimitedly with their grace. This day, I'm very happy to award you the name Narayani Dasi. Everybody's going to be happy with their names. And we have John. John, man, a few words.
Yeah, I've just got cramp in my legs, actually.
Oh, okay. You can stand for this part if you like. Yeah, it's all right. We're flexible.
It's great.
Your cramp chooses its moments. So what are the 4 regulator principles?
No gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication.
Yes, thank you. Or food which contains those elements. And how many rounds per day?
16 at least.
Yes. And reading?
As much as possible.
Yes. Now when disciple says as much as possible, it's a wonderful vow. It is a wonderful vow, but it doesn't mean anything. To say I will read as much as possible means less than saying I will read 15 minutes a day. So do remember that, okay? Because the best of intent, as much as possible is an intention. 15 minutes a day is a measurement. We like measurements, okay? And service, we've heard a glowing report from Prabhupada Prabhu about your wonderful services here at Karuna Bhavan. You're a proper monk. And I hope as soon as possible that your name change, we're going to have a colour change for you as well. What do you think? Now, I have in mind a particular colour that I'd like you to wear. Let me think.
Sounds fine, yeah.
It's saffron.
Right. Fantastic.
How old are you, John?
60.
60.
61 in November.
61 in November. So for someone 61 who has taken vows like you're taking, I think saffron is a wonderful colour. If you change your mind at some point in the future, we can still be flexible. But for the time being, I would like you to wear a colour that I can no longer wear. So you take the microphone. So now is the cramp gone? Okay, so if you can, yeah. So you are blissful and you're happy. And Krishna is the platform of supreme bliss. And also there was a great saint in our movement with the name that I'm going to give you. Who's one of the few people Prabhupada said he went back to Godhead. So by this name and service, I would like you to also in this lifetime go back to Godhead. Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Panchatattva's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy and the kindness of all these Vaishnavas, I'm very pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore the disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas and the oceans of mercy, Sri Nityananda, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you unlimitedly with their grace. This day, I'm very applause. Very happy to award you the name Jayananda. Oh no. Not last, and not least. In his previous incarnation, Jeff here was one of only 450 jockeys in the Jockey Club of Great Britain. He fell off his horse so many times. Sometimes he came first and won a lot of money. Sometimes he came second to last. Today he's second to last. But because he's getting initiation, he's second to none. So Jeffrey Marshall, you ready? Where's Rika? Okay. 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 So, how many regulative principles would you like to follow? Should we go for the whole 4? Okay. What are they?
No meat, fish and eggs, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication.
Thank you very much. Please keep those. How many rounds a day?
Minimum of 16.
And hearing from Srila Prabhupada, classes. I know you like to listen to classes. Jeff has books that are put onto tape, so he's an audio listener. So he listens to an awful lot. How many hours do you think you listen a day to either kirtan or classes?
Maybe 2 when I'm at work.
2 hours a day. Wonderful. That's the best way to stay in Krishna consciousness. So thank you very much for making this long horse race to get to this last post today. So the name I chose for you, if you take us, this name, I don't know if you can see this beautiful painting behind me of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Jagannath. You knew that as your name was a J, it was going to be Jagannath. You knew that, didn't you? But the J is something special because there's more. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's eyes constantly fixed on the eyes of Jagannath. But Jagannath's eyes are constantly fixed on the eyes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there's an interplay between these two eyes. So the name I'm going to give you means that you take pleasure in the eyes of Jagannath. You're the servant of he who takes pleasure in the eyes of Jagannath. But you're also the servant of one who is pleasing to the eyes of Jagannath. I wonder if you can guess what that is. Following the eternal principle of parampara, taking Srila Prabhupada's and Panchatattva's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy and the kindness of Vaishnavas, I'm very pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore the disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and a member of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you unlimitedly with their grace. This day, I'm very happy to award you the name Jagannath Nayana Ranjana. and Stephen. We'll Jaganath, Narayana Ramajana. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna. Wonderful to get you here. Hare Krishna. Amelia, thank you so much for making this offering today. We have Amazon and we have UPS and we have so many delivery services. But a good wife delivers her husband to Krishna somehow or another. So Stephen, you're here. That's my Gayatri signal. No, it will never go off.
Specific place.
For those of you who've taken second initiation, this is a technique which will drive you insane unless you get used to the idea. Yeah, just give it a swipe then. Okay. Good. Stephen, we promised to follow these 4 regulated principles. What are they?
I promise to follow these 4 regulated principles of not eating meat, fish.
Let me hear.
Not eating meat, fish, or eggs. No illicit sex. No gambling. And no intoxication.
Yes, no intoxication. And even though you're very busy, how many rounds?
I promise you I'll chant a minimum of 16 rounds daily.
Very good. Now what about reading?
I'll endeavour to read for 45 minutes at least daily.
Oh, wonderful. Measurement. Thank you. Hare Krishna. In life we are, there's a very real connection between ourselves and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pictured here and he's in purple here. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the incarnation of Radha and Krishna combined. Krishna, the master, with Srimati Radharani, who softens his personality and fills the hearts of all the Vaishnavas who approach him with great compassion for living beings. We are the recipients of all kinds of grace. Even now, as we've made this step in our spiritual life, great devotees, great saints, great sages are showering flowers upon all these devotees. They may be invisible, they may be inaudible, but they shower us with their grace. And certainly, the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we appeal to them for their grace also. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very restrictive who could come into his company. He wouldn't just allow anybody. They had to qualify themselves. So that person that he took as his personal secretary is the name that I've chosen for you. But let me promise you this. Following the eternal principle of parampara, Srila Prabhupada's and Panchatattva's order to expand the Sankirtan movement as my life and soul, and depending on their mercy and the kindness of the Vaishnavas. This day I'm very pleased to accept you as my disciple, and therefore the disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. and a member of the Brahmamantra Gaudiya Sampradaya. May all the previous acharyas and the ocean of mercy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, shower you unlimitedly with their grace. So this day, I'm very happy to award you nice beads. The name Swarup Damodar Das. Thank you so much, all of you. Now we come to the conclusion of our ceremony, in which we'll place grains and ghee into the fire. So we'll take a couple of minutes just to rearrange the room. Those of you who can sit cross-legged for about 15 minutes are invited to come and do that, if your legs will obey you. Those of you who cannot do that, bring your chairs closer. Those of you who have got the best seats in the house on the front row may have to stand up to allow our candidates to come closer in their chairs. Okay, so we'll take a couple of minutes to sort ourselves out. Thank you very much, everyone. Big round of applause for the candidates, please. Let me just say something which is important. We have a devotee here who has been initiated some months ago, but who never, because of circumstances and COVID and everything, never got to spend time sitting at the fire yoga. He's with us today, and I'm delighted to say that he's going to be able to join the fire sacrifice and participate. And finally put a seal on the wonderful initiation by Gopal Krishna Maharaj. So could you stand up for everybody? This is Baleshwar Prabhu. Long time for today. So raise your right hand. Give me your love and affection. We say, Om Baleshwara Prabhu Mangalani Bhavantu. Okay. Thanks, Baleshwar. You sit down.
Is it your phone directly? Okay, you're set.
So candidates, if you take your right hand and make a face of a deer, like this, face of a deer, you'll be picking up grains with your right. Please. The deer is hungry, we're all hungry. The principle is that before we feed up, not quite, no. Yes, not here. Yeah. Why don't you come in, if you go back 3 inches or so. And then Jagannath Nayana Ranjana can come over here and sit on a cushion. You're going to need a manual to remember that name.
I thought you said too sharp. Too sharp.
I don't do that often.
It's on Facebook.
Hari Om. Please fold your hands. Om Yang Brahma Varandavaro Varandi Pare Pararanam Varasham Dharande Vishvodgire Karanameshwaram Va Tasmai Namo Vignavanashaya Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashanti Surayo Diviva Chakshuratatam Jagravangsa Samindati Vishnu Yat Paramam Padam Om Madhavo Madhavo Vachi Madhavo Madhavo Ridi Smaranti Sarvak Sarve Sarva Karyeshu Madhavam Om Krishna Vai Sachidanandagana Krishna Adipurusha Krishna Purushottama Krishna Ha Ukarmani Mulam Krishna Saha Sarvaikarya Krishna Kashankridarisha Mukha Prabhu Puja Krishna Radistasmanajandantar Vaye Yamangalam Dalapate Kriti. Just take a pinch of earth with these fingers. Take a pinch of earth. Take a pinch of the earth. That's it. Om Nirasta Parvasu. Throw it out. Om Nirasta Parvasu. Om Nirasta Parvasu. Good. No, I like the first count. Okay. And bell, did he? Slow. Om Agni Mile Purohitam Yagyasya Devam Ritwijam Hotaram Ratnadatamam Hari Om Om Ishe Toraje Tvaya Vastubhaya Vastadeva Vashishtatamaya Karvane Hari Om Om Agnayahi Vitaye Grinano Havyatate Niyota Satsi Parishi Hari Om Om Shano Devi Vishtasya Apopavantu Pitaye Shamyor Visravantu Naha Hari Om. Smoke camphor. Om Bhur Swaha Idam Vishnavedam Namama Om Bhuva Swaha Idam Narayana Idam Namama Om Swaha Swaha Idam Achyutaya Idam Namama Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Idam Ananta Idam Namama. Okay. Om Purnam Mada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Mudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Take your grains, your hands. With the first throw we say, everybody can loudly say, Swaha. Okay. To Srila Prabhupada. Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Swaha. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Swaha. A little bit more of the thin wood on the side. That's it. Some of the thin wood over there. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Swaha. 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 Shri Varsha Vanavi Devi Daitaya Kripataye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Swaha. Swaha. Madhurya Ujjvala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Swaha. 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 Namaste Gauravani Pracharine. Excuse me. Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruda Appa Siddhanta Dvanta Parine Swaha. 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 Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swa Padantikam Swaha. 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 Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunath Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Dalita Shri Vishaka Anvitamscha Swaha. Now we're a little warmed up. I want you to stack the fire with at least 5 more pieces of wood in different directions, and then soak them all very nicely in ghee. That's it. Good. Everybody ready? Good. We're offering these obeisances in the name of the great devotees in our line, whose life mission it was to do exactly what we have done today, to increase the following of the family of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We do this not for ourselves, but we do it for them. We hope they will be pleased with us and shower their grace upon these wonderful Vaishnavas. Nama Gaura Kishoraya Shakshat Varagya Murtaye Vipralamba Rasambode Padam Bhujaya Te Namaha Swaha 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 Namah Bhakti Vinodaya Satchit Ananda Namine Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Swaha 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 Gaura Virbhava Bhumes Tvam Nirdeshta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannataya Te Namaha Swaha 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 Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Swaha Swaha Swaha. Okay. So now we do 4 in quick succession. Om Bhur Swaha. Idam Vishnava Idam Namama Om Bhuva Swaha. Idam Narayana Idam Namama Om Swaha Swaha. Idam Achyuta Idam Namama Om Bhurabhuva Swaha. Idam Ananta Idam Namama Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Swaha. Sri Purna Purusha Sukta. Om Sahasrachi Purushat Sahasraksha Sahasrabhara Sarvamim Vishvato Pratva Atyarishtat Dashangulam Swaha Purusha Evedam Sarvam Yat Bhutam Yat Shivabhyam Matam Ratatvasyeşana Yarannena Tirohadi Swaha Edavanasi Mahimato Jayagansha Purusha Parasya Vishvabhutani Triparasya Mritam Devi Swaha Om Bhur Swaha Idam Vishnave Idam Namama Om Bhuva Swaha Idam Narayana Idam Namama Om Swa Swaha Idam Achyuta Idam Namama Om Bhurabhuva Swaha Idam Ananta Idam Namama Panchatattva Makam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktapataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Swaha Swaha Swaha. We need a little more for the, yeah. Just grains. I guess we'll do it once each. Hey Krishna, Karuna, Sindhu, Dinabandhu, Jagat, Pate, Gopesha, Gopika, Kanta, Radha, Kanta, Namostute, Swaha. Jayatam, Surato, Pangor, Mama, Mandir, Mater, Gati, Mat, Sarvasva, Padam, Bojo, Radha, Madana, Mohano, Swaha, Divya, Brinda, Aranya, Kalpa, Drumada, Srimad, Ratna, Agara, Singhasana, Stow, Srimad, Radha, Sheila, Govinda, Devo, Preshta, Alibi, Sevyamano, Smarami, Swaha. Shriman Rasa Rasarambi Vamshi Bata Tata Stita Karshan Venu Swanair Gopir Gopinata Shriye Stuna Swaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavan Aishwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Swaha Swaha Swaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Swaha 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 Namo Pramanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagad Ditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Swaha 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Swaha Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Swaha Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Swaha. If everyone could stand, make your hands into a cup like this. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Krishnaya Govinda Namo Namaha. One by one. Did you have a banana? Or the fruit? Oh yeah. Okay. Just take the fruit from your plate and put it around so that it touches the flame, it doesn't smother the flames. One by one. Yes. Padmachan, considering all that we have done, considering all the mistakes that we've made, been through to get to this point, live a different kind of life. We offer our apologies, forgiveness. Verse. Pratigya Bhakta Shruti Iti samsmritya sam daryami aham swaha swaha swaha. Leave a few grains on your plate for the friend who brought you here. So, Colin, you come forward. And Lorna, come forward. And Mukunda and Nick, you come forward. Just a few more grains. This is for your sponsor, and Ganga Devi. Rajeshri. Between Colin and Matt. Rajeshri. There are a few more grains. There are a few more. Who's your wife? Ready? How old? I'll make you throw it for Jeff. That's right. So, considering the person who you talked about, or you garlanded, or you gave your beads to, or is just your friend, please pray for them. They will need you up to the point of initiation, and to be sure they will need you after initiation too. Those of you who've just been initiated know that your friends are friends for life, and one of the regulated principles we have in this parivar, the Kripamoya Parivar, is that we treat friends very carefully, we respect them, we're grateful, and even when someone tells you something that corrects you or challenges you, you're very happy, because you're not perfect, but you are trying. So let us do it for friends. A little bit more ghee, I think. Thanks. Namo Brahmani Devaya Brahmanataya Jagadaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Swaha. Let's circle the fire, put a little bit more wood on, make the demigods pleased. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Namaste.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mary. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Kodani Tai, Jaya Mayapur Sachi, Jaya Kodani Tai, Jaya Mayapur Sachi. Jaya Chito Sina, Jaya Chito Sina, Chito Sina, Jaya Chito Sina. Jaya Giri Dhani Now, Jaya Giri Dhani Now, Giri Dhani Now, Jaya Giri Dhani Now. Jaya Nisingade, Jaya Nisingade, Nisingade, Jaya Nisingade. Nitai go Haribo, 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 Nitai go Haribo. Shri Prabhupada ki. John Krishna Pan Paramahamsa Parivachikacharya Asasosha Shishimant, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada ki. Shri Guru Parampara ki. ISKCON BP 200 Shri Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Namachar Shri Hardasta Kaur ki. Premchako Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopagopadan Shamakund Radhakund Shri Giri Govardhan ki. Shri Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Shri Navadip Mayapur Dham ki jai, Shri Nilachal Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai, Karuna Bhavan Dham ki jai, Gangamai Jamunamai ki jai, Bhakti Devi Tulsimarani ki jai, Shrimati Vrinda Devi ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Shri Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Distribution ki, Shri Prasad Distribution ki, Harinam Prabhu ki, Vaishnav Seva Vaishnav Sangha ki, ISKCON Guru Vrinda ki, ISKCON Guru Vrinda ki, ISKCON Guru Vrinda ki, Samavekta Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
Fire coming. Fire. Have you everyone attending the initiation ceremony? Congratulations to all the initiates. And thanks to all the relatives for coming along, giving the support and blessings. Special thanks to Kripamoya and Mother Guru for being here this weekend. And a very special thanks to the cooks who have been in behind the scenes cooking all morning up until now. And that means no time to go next week. Congratulations to King. Jai! Kripamoya Prabhu Ki. Jai! Okay, well done, initiators can do the prayer.